YOLO composing gloves here, and today we're going to be talking about the Bitcrusher. I have here an example of a Reese sound. It's sort of demonstrating some of the things the Bitcrusher can offer you. I'm using it in a way that you might not actually associate with the Bitcrusher. It's a Reese sound. That's kind of nice. If I go ahead and play it, I have a small drum loop here. It's not been mixed, so the drums are considerably buried, but here's what it would sound like in application. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Now, you might be wondering, what does this sound like without the Bitcrusher? So here's what it sounds like. Now with no Bitcrusher. So let me play it sort of in context. So here it is with a little bit without. Now with it. So they add some girth to it. It's sort of an effect you might not consider to come from a Bitcrusher. Now I'm doing some things here, turning it on and off dynamically. But let's go ahead and let's look at what Bitcrushers are typically used for. So Bitcrushers often add noise, but they add it along with aliasing. So Bitcrushers typically don't just Bitcrush, they also alias. This one is no different. So if we add a Bitcrusher here, so here's our sound without the Bitcrusher with it. That ringing sound comes from the aliasing. That could be pretty dang useful just as a tool right there. Like we could have a little ya sound coming out of that. And that's actually one of the ways those sounds are made. Let's move this down. We'll bring the sustain down and the decay over. Yo, yeah, I sound like a weirdo. And then, if we were to play an even lower note and then begin to distort it, we are well on our way to a specific kind of patch. So that's pretty cool. That's one thing that is used. So this is the sample rate. This is the rate at which we would sample something, and all sorts of weird things can happen. This becomes more interesting, even more interesting, when we combine it with these things down here. So this is the analog to digital quality and the digital to analog. So these are conversion qualities. I believe that's what the C stands for. And the best way to sort of demo these is to move them around. I associate this one mostly with the low pass filter. This is a pretty unique Bitcrusher in that they give you these kinds of knobs. So let's why stop there? Let's keep the madness going. That's actually on this one. Let's give it its own envelope. I'm gonna copy this. Just control drag. I'm gonna send it over here. And on this one, I'm actually gonna put a delay on it and make the attack longer. And let's make it a one voice and legato. This is getting obnoxious. Okay, I'm going to turn this one off, but you get the idea. These are conversion qualities. I view them as sort of color tones. The position of these knobs will be more interesting when this has been lowered or moved around. If this is really high, it's got basically audio rate stuff, so it's not going to sound as interesting. Now, one thing I do sometimes is I'll start out here, and I value the transitional sound of Bitcrushers. And they're cool because they don't have to sound that bad for all the time. So a lot of times we associate it with just a downgrade in quality, which can create a lo-fi kind of hip-hop feel. Now, I haven't actually touched the bits. This has all been sample rate manipulation, sample crushing. But if we bring the bits down, bringing lower bits actually brings up basically just noise in the signal. So we hear all that extra noise. We bring it up. Let's say. So that's what bits basically do. We also have a quantization option. So let me show you this as clearly as possible. Let's go ahead and run this through. Well, let's just keep our example. Let's leave this all static and bring our bits up to 16. This is low quantize. Now let's bring our bits down and the quantization will begin to have an effect. So let's bring it really low. Now let's bring the quantize up. So quantization is making the values typically quantization means conform to a value. I had a professor who would say this over and over and over. Like, what's quantization? It means to conform to a value. So here, this is causing different roundings to occur if this is quantization in the regular sense of the word. And so when we bring this down, we don't have any of that rounding. This can cause a lot sharper of a sound, actually, I think. And that's actually what dithering is. So if this is classic dithering, I'm not sure. There's actually different kinds. You can get pretty dang fancy. But usually dithering, like if you were to think of like the most basic case, the last bit in a signal often has problems encoding because it's your least accurate bit. It's also referred to as the least significant bit, the LSB. And dithering will basically randomize this. It has the effect of adding noise, but it actually reduces the distortion. It's actually the randomization down on the what's the noise floor is actually helps with the total distortion, because the name of the game is to get rid of patterns. And so these least significant bits build up in patterns. So dithering has that effect. If we bring this up, now we take dithering away, we see it's a much sharper sound. Here we get noisy. Now this is the sound a lot of people think of when they think of Bitcrushers, like playing things. It's like this noisy mess, but we're given these 3 parameters to sort of fiddle with, and it allows us to get some pretty cool sounds out. Now, obviously, if you want something to sound sharp, you can use this to your advantage and leave the dithering down, and you'll get a much sharper distortion out. If you're going to use this to sort of smother things a little bit, you want your dithering up a little bit and mess with your quantization in bits. So let's go ahead and let's make a quick sort of a little lo-fi patch thing. Oh my goodness, where is that release? No note off command was being sent for some reason. Okay, cool. So let's play a low note. I'm really vibing this low valley thing. Bring this up. I'm going to capitalize on that and go with the distortion next. Let's bring this down some. Oh, my screen color is changing. It must be, I have an automatic screen coloration thing. It removes the blue from the screen. So it could be bad over time. Okay, I'm digging that. Let's go ahead. Let's close this. Let's close. Actually, I kind of want to mess with this more. That gives a really retro feel, that crushing noise. So if you're making like chiptune or something, that's why you'll see Bitcrushers reached for. Because back in the day, those limitations were a real thing. That's pretty cool. Let's bring this up. Interesting. We immediately lose our lowest frequency if we do that. That kind of makes sense. I kind of actually prefer it. Let's try out the other waves. Even the sine wave is not immune to such horrendous distortion. Let's go ahead. Let's add a... this is a tough decision. Let's go with the filter. Let's move this around with our modulator first one. Oops, not the Q. I guess we can move it a little bit. I meant to change the cutoff. Let's add a reverb on the end. Reverb. We're getting a kind of a cool sound here. let's keep going. Let's add another Bitcrusher. And this time we're going to tone back the settings a bit. We're going to keep it. You hear that clicking? I got to leave it right around there. Okay, let's try messing with a higher sample rate. Oh my goodness. Okay. I know I'm playing it a lot. It's just how I sound design, okay? Sorry if you don't like the number of times I push it. Usually I skip ahead in editing. Maybe it'll happen and then this comment will be completely out of context. I kind of want to try a flanger. I'm afraid I'm going to smooth it out too much, though. We're getting a lot of that yaw out of it, which is just lovely. I think I'm going to stop right there. That was too great. Anyways, if you have any questions about this, let me know. Bitcrushers are amazing. Subscribe, affiliate link in the description if you're interested in picking this up, and have a blessed day.